I never in a million years thought I would make this video for you. Today we're going to be talking about that one time that I, Jenna Clare K, met Taylor Swift. What? It's going to be very long, so settle in, go get a cookie, relax. I will do my best to make it as concise as I can. If you didn't know, I've been a Taylor Swift fan for 10 years now. I fell in love with her at the very beginning of 2008, and ever since then, I've been a ride or die. I have loved her. I have done so much for that woman. I have seen her in concert multiple times. The first time I saw her was for the Red Tour in 2013. You could say I'm a big fan. I have been trying desperately to meet her. I haven't actually met her myself for the longest time, and I was convinced that it was never gonna happen. It's a wild ride, so I guess we'll start at the beginning. So the story starts on a Tuesday night. I was actually sitting in bed reading Throne of Glass, and I didn't want to read, so my book was next to me, but I was on my phone scrolling. And I get this text from my friend Haley. And if you don't know Haley, she is a booktuber as well. She's on Instagram, she's on Twitter, she's wild. We are kind of like twins in a lot of ways, and she's been my ride or die Taylor person for the last year or two, and I love her to pieces. So anyways, Haley, the person who I'm talking about for most of this video, sends me a text message, and she's like, Jenna, tell me to get over myself. And I was like, oh my god, why? She does this all the time. We have so many texts where it's just we're super dramatic for no reason. So I was like, whatever, why? So she sends me this screenshot of her Tumblr, and it's a message from Taylor Nation. She literally got a message on Tumblr from Taylor Nation. And I refuse to think about it too much, but also I can't stop thinking about it. And Taylor Nation is Taylor Swift's management company, and they have this thing where they'll send out confidential messages to people on social media. And both of us never in 1,000 trillion years thought that either of us would ever get that kind of message. And so she sent it to me, and she was like, is this real? I'm double checking, you're seeing this, this is happening. And I sent her a flood of messages that were just curse words and craziness, because I kept double checking. I was like, it's that, it says Taylor Nation. They're not trolling us. It's not a weird person sending us it's Taylor Nation, Taylor Swift's management company, who makes people's dreams come true. But in the moment, sure, you're excited, but there's also that little part of you that's oh no, if I get my hopes up too high and nothing happens, I'm gonna be really depressed for the rest of my life. Both of us were cautiously optimistic the entire time. This is fake. This isn't actually happening. We're not actually gonna do anything. We're not actually gonna go. They're not gonna reply to our emails. They're not gonna do anything. It's not happening. But if it did, that would be pretty cool, right? Yeah, totally. Turns out you can get a +1. So she was like, I'm putting your name down. You're getting here. I don't know how you're getting here. You're 8 hours away from Chicago, but you're getting here. It's for this event in Chicago for at&t. We don't know anything else. That's all we know at this point. She emails Taylor Nation, and we're freaking out, even though nothing's happening. And we're like, wow, what's gonna happen? I don't know. Nothing's gonna happen. So we text for a good 2 hours straight. And by the end of the night, we end up getting another email from Taylor Nation. And they reply to Haley, and they're like, great, give us all the social media handles and the birthday and the full name of your +1 and you. When we went to bed that night, we didn't know that it was actually going to play out. We really were just you know what, they're probably not going to even email back, it's not going to happen, but this is a crazy fantasy, we'll just pretend it's going to happen. We were throwing out hypotheticals, Haley had to work on Thursday, which was when this event was going to happen, so she was like, I don't know, am I going to have to quit my job? And I was like, probably. And she was like, okay. And then I actually had scheduled a photo shoot the morning of Thursday, because I was off of work all that second half of the week. And so I thought, I have time, sure, let's do this photo shoot. Normally it wouldn't be a big deal, except that it was for this small wedding ceremony. And so both of us were kind of if this actually plays out, we're going to have to either come up with some great excuses or just die, I guess. I canceled on the bride, and I felt really bad about it, but I told her I had to work. And so if you're watching this, I'm sorry I lied to you, but it was worth it. And Haley lied to her work and was like, yeah, I have food poisoning. I can't come in. And somebody covered her shift. They got a photographer for the wedding. So I was like, I don't feel guilty anymore. It's fine. So basically around midday, we get another email. Haley doesn't even text me this time. She straight up FaceTimes me. What's up? And Haley was like, we're officially invited to this at&t event. And I swear, that was probably the moment it started taking off, that my brain was like, I have to drive to Chicago on Thursday, 8 hours. Oh my God. Hi. Hello, internet. I want to die. I'm shaking. Oh my God. Haley just FaceTimed me to tell me that we are officially invited to a Taylor Swift Now event in Chicago tomorrow. What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my God. I'm gonna pass out. Is this happening? Guys. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. What if tomorrow I met Taylor Swift? I wasn't prepared. I was not ready for it. I dropped everything and I just left Nashville because I had to be in Chicago. We're getting our stuff together. I'm telling my mom, I told my roommates, I was like, okay, this could I don't know what's gonna happen, but anything could happen. Eventually Taylor Nation sends another email a couple hours later at 4 p.m. and they're like, okay, here are the basic details of what's happening. So it starts at 7 p.m. You need to be at this location. We're gonna bus you from the first location to a secondary location, and then we're gonna go to this party where we're celebrating Reputation, and there's gonna be food and it's gonna be really fun, and that's all we knew. At that point, both of us were like, you know what? If we showed up and Taylor Nation handed us a stale cookie and we were just listening to Getaway Car on repeat, that would still be the best night of my entire life. Haley told her mom, she was like, dress for the best, expect the least. And that was our motto for the night. Then Thursday, June 28th, that is the day that everything happened and my life went insane. I wake up at 7:15. It's very early, but I have 8 hours. I have to drive 8 hours all the way up from Nashville to Chicago. And so I got dressed and I did some makeup and I left. And my car was actually acting up. My tires were being weird. And so I was really nervous for the first couple hours of the drive that they were just gonna pop on the highway and that I was gonna not make it and die. So anyways, to ease my mind while I was driving those 8 hours, I was like, you know what? Today's the perfect day to listen to the entire Taylor Swift discography. All of it. Every single one. So I listened from the first album to the last album. I threw in all of the singles that she released in between those. I listened to Beautiful Eyes. I did the whole shebang, and I did it for 8 hours. That's what I listened to. And it was really beautiful and stressful because the whole time I was listening to it, I was like, oh my God, this is a perfect lyric for if I met her tonight, if I met her tonight, if I met her tonight, if I met her tonight. Really quick tidbit, while I was driving up, I passed Louisville, and so I drove past the stadium where I was going to see her on Saturday, and I freaked out. And as I'm getting out of Louisville, there's a crash that's coming up on I-65, and so I was like, oh, I'll just take a detour, it'll be fine. I don't want to get into traffic. It's going to be great. So I take this random detour in southern Indiana. I'm not even near Louisville anymore, and so I'm just driving. First things first, I pass a sign that says Swifty Farms. I was like, that is a good sign. We'll just keep driving this way, I guess. And so I'm in the middle of Speak Now. I'm listening to Better Than Revenge. I glance to my left, and holy shit! What the fuck? Oh my God! What the fuck? It's her! Oh my God! What the fuck? Oh my God! Wow. I literally passed the Reputation Stadium tour buses. I freaked out. This was as good a sign as any that good things were gonna happen that night. It is currently 4:45 and I am about 40 minutes outside of Chicago. I've been driving since 9 in the morning. There's no way something comes out of this tonight. I'll just look cute in this dress with Haley, and that'll be that. By the time I go to Chicago to pick up Haley from the train station, it is about 5:30, and so we have basically an hour and a half to get to this venue. And we're like, well, we were gonna go eat dinner, and we decided that we didn't have any time. We had to get there. We were just really anxious and nervous, and so we were like, whatever, we'll just go. We'll figure it out later. And by the time we get there, there's already a line of people outside. And so we frantically go and find parking. We have to park a little bit away, so we half walk, half run. Okay. We're together. We made it. I want to die.
The mood is same.
I literally want to die, but it's fine. It's for the person I love the most. To get back in line for this venue. We're still early, by the way. It's 6:30 at this point. We get there. We get in line. We're freaking out. we're still just like, what if we get a cookie? That would be great. I would love that. We have no idea what is going to happen. Like, they have told us nothing. We get up to this first security checkpoint, and basically the guy holds out a list, and he's like, okay, show me your ID. Like, what's your name? So we're still panicking, like, oh my God, what if our names aren't on the list? They are. We go right up into the venue, and then there's this long table, you know, just a table set up with people again, and they're like, okay, show us your ID. What's your name again? And we're like, it's Haley and Jenna. And they're like, okay, great. And so they give us wristbands. And I got black, I think because I'm 23 and I'm over 21. But they also gave us like these little colored wristbands to go with it that were like paper. And so anyways, we're like, oh my God, we're so legit. Then we went to this next security checkpoint that they didn't ask for our names, but they were like, okay, like give us your phone, your purse, your bag, like anything, like you don't need anything in there. And we were like, okay. Meanwhile, we're still just like freaking out this whole time. Like every other word out of each other's mouths is literally like, what the fuck? They're like, okay, like go outside, you can get on the bus. We have heard many a time about the Taylor Swift buses. Like she uses them to get people to secret sessions, like any kind of event. It's like you get bused to this next location. And we got on that bus, and that was like the first moment I think that it really hit me that like, oh my, like there is a chance. There is a bigger chance than usual that I could hug Taylor Swift tonight. When we got on, they were playing Ready for It, and so it was really fun. We got to sing along on the bus. It was like camp. We were just singing with a bunch of Swifties, all of the Taylor Swift songs, and it was so much fun. During Delicate, the whole bus did 1, 2, 3, let's go, bitch! By the time we were actually pulling out, it was down to Getaway Car, and Getaway Car is like the 9th song, so we'd been waiting for a hot second. When we were pulling out, like to go to the next location, when they were like, okay, you guys can go, was during the end where it's said goodbye in a getaway car, and we pulled away, and all of us were like screaming and crying, and we were so excited. Like oh man. And to think that isn't even the most excited I got. I thought I was excited on that bus, but like it's a lie. I was not. We're bused to this secondary location, and the whole time we're just making John Mulaney jokes, and we're like, Taylor Nation could be killing us, and we wouldn't even know or care. It would be great. We passed by the Salt and Pepper Diner, which was also interesting, because I was like, John Mulaney really looking out for us. We're pulling into this alley. It says, do not block alley, and we're all just like, we are in an alley right now. What is happening? Where are we going? We don't know where we are, because we don't have our phones, and there's no signs, and so we're like, cool, guess we'll just die. Before anybody can get off the bus, this camera crew walks on to the bus, and they go to the back of the bus, and they're like, okay guys, like you have to act excited because we're filming this, like this is all gonna be taped, like get excited. And of course, like you don't have to tell us to get excited, we're already just like our mouths are open, we're crying, like screaming, like there are people just like dying. I'm dying. I just like I'm pretty sure in the background of that video footage there's just me being like. So we get off the bus. All throughout the night, the people who work for, I don't know if it's at&t or Taylor Nation, whatever, they have on these black sparkly bomber jackets. And so as we were walking in, there was just like every couple feet, there was another bomber jacket person. And you could tell all of them were just so excited for us. They were smiling so big. They were watching us like, have fun. And we were like, thank you so much. Haley and I, we're gripping each other's hands. This happened like multiple times throughout the whole night where we were just like holding on to each other because we were so excited and scared and anxious and happy and all of the things. And so we walked down these stairs into this like underground like basement type area. There's this tunnel, and it's not like a super long tunnel, but it feels really long because you're just like, oh my goodness, we're here, we made it, we're at this party. And the tunnel is full of like mirrors, and Taylor Swift is on screens, and like we're holding each other's hands. I almost cried. Like that was one of the moments again where I almost cried, that I was like, oh my God, like we are here, like this is happening right now. The first thing is like, it's so overwhelming. There's so many people. There's Taylor Swift's face everywhere. Like cameras are flashing. There's film crews just walking around. Haley and I are just like, I don't know what to do. Like, what is happening? How did we get here? How did this happen to us? And finally, it's kind of like graduation. We like get ushered to this little like stepping point. And so this photographer's like, okay, stand here. We'll take a picture. And so we get our picture taken, and we get handed these little tiny raffle tickets. And it says, Taylor Swift Now, Chicago, June 28th, 2018. And we have no idea what to do with them. We eventually find out it's kind of like Chuck E. Cheese, where you go and you do stuff, you get tickets, and then you can go get free merch. And we didn't actually figure this out soon enough to get good merch, but like it was still a great concept. The setup of the room, as you walk in, to your left, it kind of goes back a little bit. There's arcade games, there's a skee ball machine. Right in front of us, there's a bunch of like photo backdrops. So they have like a snake, one that's like kind of like the album cover, and then they have another that says Big Reputation. And then they also have like a claw machine. They have like this big blue couch. There's this LED light up dance floor in the back that when you step on it, like little hearts or like sparkles come out of like the weight under your feet, which is really cool. And obviously everywhere there's screens, there's direct TV stuff going, Taylor Swift's face, like Reputation is playing over the loudspeakers. Like honestly, it was heaven. Like we walked in and we just kept saying like, what the fuck? Like, how did we get here? We're actually here right now. Like, this is actually happening. This is so surreal. Like, I can't believe this. Oh my God, this sounds fake. Like, we didn't have Twitter, so we were just like basically like live tweeting the whole thing to each other, and it was really fun. So if you go into the next little room over, there's like a little lounge. It's really blue and like lit up and really cute. There's little tables everywhere, and there's a bar that you can go get drinks at. We got a non-alcoholic drink called Big Reputation. It was just like soda water and blackberry syrup and lime. They also had like some alcoholic beverages that I didn't get because I don't like vodka, so I was like, I'm not gonna try it. And they had people walking around with like food. But both of us were like too anxious the whole night to eat anything. I had on really dark lipstick, so I was like, I cannot mess this up. I can't eat anything ever. So the only thing I regret not eating is a Pop-Tart, because they had little baby Pop-Tarts that were like, not real Pop-Tarts, like homemade Pop-Tarts that I was like, I wish I had one of those. We spent the whole time at the beginning just like trying to do stuff, figuring out what was happening, just like looking at everything, because it was just really overwhelming. As somebody who's been a fan of Taylor for 10 years, like to be at this exclusive event, like it was already just like everything I could have ever dreamed. So another thing to talk about is the bathroom. The bathroom was super great. It was really industrial. It was gorgeous. They had this huge wall that was a mirror. And the real cool thing about it is whenever Taylor Swift does events that are like personal like this, she'll end up putting anything you could ever want in the bathroom. And we were so excited. Like dry shampoo, hairspray, perfume. She had Q-tips, hair ties, tampons, gum, like literally anything you could need. Oil absorbing sheets, like just so many things. We went back, there was a side room where you could like go and claim your tickets and get merch and stuff. So we were like, okay, we should probably go check that out because nothing's happening. We hear this scream from the other side of the room. It's the scream. And so finally we look at each other and we're like, oh shit, we have to get over there right now. So we're like fast walking, almost running. The staff is like, no, don't run, walk. And we're like, but Taylor's okay, fine. So we're walking. Haley and I were holding hands. And as we turn around this corner, there's like the lounge. And as we turn the corner, they had opened up this like garage door and the wall opened into a concert venue. And obviously like the whole time, this whole entire night, like they're taking pictures of us. Like there's candids, there's like filming of us like doing the things, and like there are pictures of us like in that moment. And like even though like the happiest moment of my life was like when I met Taylor Swift, like I think that moment, like I will never feel that kind of joy ever again. Like you can see it on my face, like you can see it in the pictures, but like that moment, like I swear my heart just like dropped out of my chest. I was like, nothing can top. This is the greatest experience of my entire life. First of all, they'd only invited like 100 to 200 people. Like there was under 200 people in that venue to hear her play. And like at that point, we weren't even necessarily thinking like, oh my God, we're going to get to meet her. It was more just like, we're getting a private concert. There's like less than 200 people in here. She hasn't done this in 10 years. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like everybody else was kind of, I felt like everybody was a little bit over it. Like not to be like, oh my God, this is normal. But like a majority of the audience seemed very like just excited and like ready to go. And like Haley and I, like as they were filming everybody screaming, just like to get shots of us screaming without Taylor, like Haley and I were in the back of the group, like 7 people deep. And we just kept looking at each other. We just kept freaking out because like every other second I was like, oh my God, Taylor's here. Like we're getting a concert. We're going to meet her. This is happening. This is happening. The weirdest part of the whole experience, I think, is that as you're living through it, like first of all, you don't have a phone, so you can't like document anything yourself. But second of all, like it was so surreal because this was everything I ever wanted and didn't know that I wanted. And like, you know, you're going to be telling this story for forever. Like as I was living it, I was telling Haley, like, we're going to have to tell this story until we die. It's like a proposal, like, or an engagement or like a wedding. Like I'm going to tell this story thousands of times. Like I'm telling you guys right now, but like I've already told it like 4 or 5 times to like my mom and my best friend and like my roommate and like so many different people. I've told it to people on the street. Like, I have told this story a lot already, but as I was living it, I knew I was going to have to tell it for the rest of my life. And it was just so weird and surreal. I think that's the only word I can use, is surreal. I knew it was happening, but in the back of my mind, I was like, this isn't happening, is it? Like, this can't be real life. Like, I pinched myself like 2 times. I'm so serious, like, on my arm. I was like, this is real. This is happening. Oh my God. We're freaking out. We have a good, like, 20 minutes to wait before anything really happens. So we're just standing in the back of the concert venue, like, screaming, like, they're filming us. We freaked out because there's a piano in there. There was also the sparkly guitar and the koi guitar. The sparkly guitar is iconic, like, everybody knows that. If you don't know the koi guitar, it was used at the Speak Now World Tour, and I think she played Last Kiss on that one. They're iconic, like, they are a part of Taylor Swift's brand from when she was young. Now, the night really, like, kicks it into high gear. We're standing there screaming. The lights go out. We are already just, like, dead inside. And then she walked out. I've never been this close to Taylor Swift in my entire life. The closest I came was when I saw her at the beginning of June in Chicago, and she was on the B stage, and I was like pretty close to her. Like, I could see her face, and I was without screens. It was so weird. This time, when she walked out on stage, for the first like 30 seconds, like, Haley and I literally like dropped to the floor. We almost like fell. We were so freaked out. She looked like a Barbie doll. She didn't even look like a real person. Like, my mind just could not compute that, like, this is Taylor Swift. She's right in front of you. Like, I cannot explain to you that feeling because it just was so strange. Like, it didn't feel real at all. Like, it literally felt like a dream. She's like basically like there's like 7 people between me and Taylor Swift. She is incredibly close to me. And she comes out, she's wearing this, like, green jumpsuit, which we later found out was about $1,000. She has a big belt on, she's got some booties. Her hair is long and straight, and she has her bangs, and she looks like 2012 Taylor. I kid you not. It was so weird. She comes out, she's like, hey, guys, like, I'm Taylor, like, I'm gonna play some songs for you. And, like, this is a crowd of, like, 200 people who know her so well. We're all fans of her. Like, we're dying inside. It's amazing. So, really quick, just an overview of what she plays. She did Gorgeous and Delicate on guitar, and then she did All Too Well and New Year's Day on piano, and then the last one was Shake It Off on guitar. It was truly incredible. The thing that really got me when I was listening to it was that she hasn't done a show this small maybe in 10 years, and the fact that I was there was just, like, it really felt like a sign from God that, like I was supposed to be here, that he had been planning this for a long time. Like, he was waiting for the proper moment to, like, give me my time. I swear I almost cried, like, every song because I had that moment where I was like, she's right there. God really did this for me. I'm so blessed. Haley's with me. I want to cry. Like, oh my gosh. Like, all through Delicate, I just stood there like this being like, oh my God, Taylor. And it was different because we didn't have our phones either, so, like, we couldn't even, like, take pictures. We were just, like, there. I stared into her eyes the whole time because I didn't have my phone. I was just trying to memorize her. Couple highlights from the set. I don't know if you know this about the Taylor Swift fandom, but we have little things that we do during the concerts. During the Reputation tour, the 2 things that we do. Number 1, during Gorgeous, anytime you have the little ding, you just obnoxiously scream out, ding! But at this show, the whole crowd, we all did it. It was amazing. Taylor thought it was hysterical. The other thing that is a little bit more well known is that during Delicate, during the tour, right after the first, like, chorus section, to start it off, obviously you go 1, 2, 3, let's go, bitch! And it's a meme. It came out of Twitter. Don't ask me. This is all being filmed. Keep in mind, for DirecTV, at&t now, whatever. They're gonna, like, do something with the footage. I don't really know. Family, probably, oriented. And so, without prompting, Taylor starts Delicate, and literally the whole crowd, at the top of our lungs, I've never heard it so loud, we screamed that, and Taylor thought it was so funny. She was just laughing. She loves us. Oh my God. There was one point where she was, like, talking about preparing for this gig, and she was like, we didn't know if we should do full band. Do we need background vocalists? I don't know. They decided to just do Taylor and her instruments. And she said, turns out we didn't need backup singers because you guys know the part to literally all of the songs. Like, we were singing the high-pitched part in Delicate, like, Delicate, at that tone. Not even, like, high, really. It was so funny, so funny. My favorite thing about it was that you could tell she was really comfortable because she was laughing the whole time, like smiling. She made mistakes and didn't even care. Like, she was just going about it. There was one part when she got on the piano and she was like, okay, guys, like, I haven't sound checked, so hopefully this sounds okay. Give me a second to, like, work some chords out. And so she did, and it was, like, super great and cute. During Shake It Off, she started playing it and she forgot that she hadn't plugged in the guitar again, and she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. But she was so comfortable with us, which it was honestly all I could ask for. She gave us so many cute little remarks and comments during New Year's Day when she was introducing it, that she was talking about how, like, just a general hypothetical, like, you know, when, like, it's, like, New Year's and you, like, jump into a pool with all your clothes on, and, like, then you wake up the next day and you're, like, kind of hungover, and so it's, like, Advil all day, all the time. And we were, like, looking at her like, I can't relate to that. Can you? She was just, like, so cute, and it was just unbelievable. And oh my God. During All Too Well, Haley and I freaked out because the only other time I've heard it live was in Chicago 5 years ago, and Haley heard it at that exact same concert. And now it's 5 years later, and she introduced it saying, like, oh, this used to be, like, a really hard song for me to sing, and I always hated singing it because it's so emotional, and I always cry and whatever. But now it makes me really happy because I know how much it means to you guys, and I know you love it, and it makes you really happy, so it makes me happy. The first time I heard it live in Chicago, she was sobbing, like, crying, like, it was so emotional. The second time I heard it, she was laughing during All Too Well. Like, she was smiling, she was giggling, like, somebody was trying to sing along with her, and it was really off-key, and so all of us just kind of, like, looked at them, and Taylor thought it was so funny. She laughed so hard. It was adorable. So anyway, she, like, gets up from the piano. She's, like, gonna start doing another song, and we're all like, pick up the sparkly guitar, like, sparkly guitar, make it happen. And she's like, guys, like, I can't. It's out of tune. It's just a prop. And we were like, tune it! And she's like, no, I can't. I'm sorry. She's getting ready to play Shake It Off, and she's finally talking to us about, like, what's gonna happen later on. She's like, okay, I have one more song for you. And we're like, no, play more. And she's like, oh, I mean, I could play 3 more songs, or I was thinking maybe we could, like, take some pictures. And we were like, oh my God, pictures, yeah, pictures. She's like, okay, pictures then. All right. And she was talking about it. She gave us 2 rules. She's like, first of all, my number 1 hobby when I'm on tour is to not get sick and not blow out my voice. And we were like, all right, fair enough. And so she was like, I can't talk to you guys very much tonight. Like, I'm not allowed to talk to you. I'm sorry. I love you, but I can't talk to you. And we're like, all right, like, it's going to be sad, but that's fine. And then the other rule was, we were going to be in groups of 4. So for the pictures, like, you have to, like, make friends because you're going to be taking pictures with 4 people, and, like, we'll be in groups of 4. Like, I can't do anything. We have to move it along. I'm sorry. We were like, okay, like, that's a bummer, but, like, it's fine. We'll make it happen. It's still a great experience. We're so happy to be here. Oh my God, I'm blessed. Keep that in mind for later. She plays Shake It Off. We're all, like, ecstatic, going hard, crying, like, it's beautiful. She puts her guitar away to, like, leave, and she's like, nobody told me, like, where to go, so I don't really know where I'm going. I think I'm gonna go back here, but, like, I'll see you guys soon. Like, I can't wait to meet you. Bye. And then, of course, like, we were all, like, being let out, and they were giving us instructions, like, we're gonna go based on the color that you got on your wristband. So we were, like, in the 3rd group, so we had a long time to wait. As I was walking out of there, I saw a girl who was just, like, holding her best friend, like, sobbing, and I was like, I would be doing that if I wasn't in control of my emotions. Like, oh my gosh, I feel you, girl. Finally, we're like, okay, we're gonna go get our merch really quick. They didn't have a lot to choose from, so we ended up getting one of those, like, glass water bottles with the silicone outside thing. It was like a $30 water bottle, so I'm still happy about it. And then we got tote bags. And, like, honestly, we were so high on the whole night that I didn't even care that we didn't get, like, a tour t-shirt or a vinyl or, like, a Polaroid camera or, like, a huge, delicate lithograph. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I was so happy that I didn't need any of that. And, like, we were still happy with the water bottles. Did the bathroom again to, like, make sure our makeup looked good. And we're just, like, hanging out. And finally, we are realizing, like, we're meeting her. Like, this is a real thing that's happening. We have to figure out what we're going to say to her. Like, I don't know about you. I'm feeling 22. But in my whole life, all the time that I've fantasized about meeting Taylor, about talking to her, about being with her, like, whatever, like, I never really let myself have a conversation with her. Like, usually it's like, hey, like, I love you. And, like, I don't think about anything more than that because it didn't feel real. Like, it didn't feel like something that could possibly happen to me. And so I never imagined what I would say. And I was like, whatever, like, this is not going to happen, so I don't have to think about it. And then I had to think about it because it was like, shit, like, I haven't thought about this. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I couldn't think of any questions that I wanted to ask her. I didn't know what I really wanted to say to her. Like, how do you talk to somebody that you've been best friends with for 10 years but have never met? Like, how do you tell somebody that you're proud of them, that you've grown up with them, that, like, your songs make them the happiest, that, like, you have 5 versions of one of their albums on your phone? Like, how do you possibly convey all that you want to say in 3 minutes or less. And so we got at the back of the line. And so we're waiting at the back of our group. And we're finally like at the back of this line. And we're like, great, we have so much time. We can plan what we're going to say. It's going to be fine. And then the bomber jackets come over. And they look at us. And it's kind of like Space Mountain, you know, where they're like, how many people are in your group? And you're like, 2. Like, we got 2. That's us. We haven't figured out the other 2 people we want to take a picture with yet. It's fine. We'll figure something out. And they start conversing, and they're like, oh, I think we have 2 up there. No, we don't. Like, maybe there's some over here. And they're like, no, I think we have some up here. Let me go double check. And so finally, we're just standing there the whole time being like, what is happening? And finally, a bomber jacket guy comes over, and he's like, okay, you 2, like, come on. Like, you're going right now. Like, up front. You're with those 2. Like, go. And so we're like, shit. So we are ushered to the front of the line. We have jumped like 50 people in line. Unexpectedly. Didn't even plan it. Didn't really want it to happen this way. We're paired with these 2 ladies, one of whom looks like she's probably in her 40s or 50s, and the other one is an Asian woman who I just, like, couldn't tell how old she was. Like, the way she was dressed was kind of frumpy, but it could have either been, like, a young person dressed in a way that made them look older, or it could have been an old person dressed in a way that made them look younger, and I could not figure it out. And so, age-ambiguous person and the older lady. That's what I will refer to them as. Anyways, Haley and I get to the front of this line. We are staring at each other. Haley's like, my heart rate just sped up. Like, I can't breathe. And I'm like, I can't breathe either. My hands are on my knees. I am, like, freaking the fuck out because suddenly this became very real very fast. It's like 2 or 3 minutes later, and they're like, okay, like, you're good to go. Like, go upstairs. And so we just keep passing all these people, the staff members, and they're like, good luck, have fun, enjoy it. And we're like, we are, oh my God, thank you. Like, we go upstairs and we figure out we're not like right next. So we still have to wait a little bit, which is good. We go up and the stairs take us over on this bridge that's like above the concert venue that we were at earlier. And so we kind of wait there for a little while. These girls end up coming past after having met her. And they're like, oh my God, Taylor's publicist and her mom are here. And we're like, oh my God, Andrea and Tree are here. This is so great. I'm dying. Oh my God. We get to the front of this little section and we're still just like freaking out. Like, it's a very weird experience, honestly. They usher us to this next section, which is this long hallway, like backstage, and it has like basically like those fabric walls that are fake to block out whatever's happening. And so we get to a security checkpoint, and one more time they're like, okay, what are your names? Let me see your wristbands. And we're like, we have them. We're here. We're supposed to be here. They're like, yeah, you're good. Okay. And so as we're like doing that, we like glance over and Andrea Swift is just like hanging out. Taylor Swift's mom, if you don't know. And she's talking to people and we're like, that's Andrea Swift. She's right there. Oh my goodness. And so we've like put down our bags and they're like, okay, like move up a little bit in line. And so we're hanging out. It's like the 4 of us, Haley and I, and these other 2 potentially older ladies. And as we're waiting in that line, we kind of decide to like talk a little bit just because it's like, if you're going to get a picture with these people, like they're going to be in my picture for like the next 80 years and I'm going to have to talk about them. So I need to know something about them. So Haley and I are kind of freaking out. Don't Blame Me is playing in the background and Haley and I are both like, we're going to church. Oh my God. And so the age ambiguous lady looks over at us and is like, don't worry. Like, she's just a person, like breathe. And we're like, you don't understand. Like, are you a local? What's happening? Finally, she's making small talk. She's like, so like, what's everybody's favorite Taylor song? And Haley's like, Out of the Woods, hands down, Out of the Woods. So good. And I'm like, I think Long Live. Like, I'm pretty sure Long Live is my favorite. And so the older lady, we all look at her and she's like, you know what? Like, I really think like Gorgeous. Like, I think Gorgeous is like a really good song. And I swear, Haley and I didn't look at each other, but I felt this vibe that both of us were like, you have got to be shitting me right now. Like, what the fuck? The other lady, I don't even remember if she answered. So both of us are just kind of like, oh yeah, like Gorgeous is a great song. Yeah, totally. And so then I asked, I was like, oh, how long have you guys been fans? Like, because that's a really good tell of if people are like new fans or old fans. Like, I just want to know, just to know where we're at. So the older lady is like, oh, I've been a fan since the beginning. And I was like, okay, you said Gorgeous, but I'll forgive you for that. Like, you're fine, you're safe. The other lady, she's like, oh, just since 1989, like, I saw her in concert in Chicago, and she was so good, and, like, I didn't even know that, like, she would have people dress up in costume and, like, pick them to come back and meet her. Like, that's so nice and fun. And Haley and I both were just like, wow. Like, we were polite, and we were nice, and, like, it's fine. Like, I have nothing against new fans. Like, you have every right to meet her and all that. It's just, like, Haley and I were so excited. Like, literally anxious. Like, our hearts were beating so fast. Like, we wanted to die. And these other 2 were like, yeah, like, this is fun. Like, we get to meet Taylor Swift. That's so cool. And it was just, like, a disconnect. We were just, like, different people. And, like, that's fine. But I was a little bit sad because I was like, we're getting a picture with these people who are, like, not that big of fans. Like, whatever. It's fine. Whatever. It's fine. I'm meeting Taylor Swift. Nothing is bad at all, ever. We move up a little bit more. Delicate starts playing, and Tree comes around the corner. Tree Payne, Taylor Swift's publicist, redhead, gorgeous, amazing, awesome. She comes out and she's like, I have never seen, like, such a beautiful group of people. You guys just look beautiful. I love you. You're so cool. Thank you so much for coming. And we were like, thank you, Tree. Like, I'm so happy to see you. Like, wow, you're here. Wow. Oh, my goodness. So we talked to Tree a little bit, and then finally Andrea Swift walks out from behind the curtain, and she's like, wow, hey, guys, you guys all look so beautiful. Like, thank you so much for coming. And Haley shook her hand, and I shook her hand, and I, like, looked her dead in the eye, and I was like, it is truly an honor to meet you. And she was like, oh, wow, thank you, like, so much. And at that point, like, we kind of get cut off from talking to Andrea because security is finally like, okay, like, you're up, like, you have to go, like, you're going around the corner, like, this is happening. And Haley and I, like, took a deep breath, and we, like, grabbed each other's hands, and we were like, okay, like, this is happening, oh my god. And so we walk around the corner. The first two ladies go first, and she's, like, right there, like right there. Finally, like, in that moment, like, I almost started bawling. Oh, I was so freaking close. Like, I let out, like, a half of sob, and I almost felt the tears coming, and Haley, like, squeezed my hand, and she was like, Jenna, you can't right now. Your makeup, you have to look good for this picture. And I was like, you're right. It's fine. Everything's fine. But, like, in that moment, it was another, like, I will remember that moment for as long as I live, and that feeling that I had, because it was so dreamlike. Like, you know she's a real person. And, like, I've seen pictures, I've seen videos, I've seen her in concert. Like, I just saw her on stage, but that feeling, like, she didn't look real. Like, she looked like a freaking Barbie doll, and she was so sweet, and, like, she was right there. Like, right there. I can't explain to you how surreal it was, because it just blew my mind. It was very strange. So Haley and I are, like, holding hands. We're still freaking out. We're like, oh my god, she's right there. What are we gonna say? I don't know what I'm gonna say. And that sneaky bitch. I love her so much. The other two ladies started talking to her, and she talked to each of them individually, and so we, like, went up to, like, go talk to her so we could get this picture with the four of us, and she, like, looked at us, she was like, no, I'm gonna do them, and then I'll come back for you. And we like, looked at each other, and we were like, she's doing 2 and 2, like, we're gonna get 2, oh my god, we're getting 2 with her, like, oh my god, this is better than we could have hoped for. And the security lady, Haley said this happened, that the at&t lady who was pushing people along was like, what is happening? And Taylor literally just, like, took a picture with those two ladies and ushered them off, and then it was on to us. It's like she knew that we were such dedicated fans because we were, like, screaming and holding each other's hands that, like, we needed a picture with just us, and I will never be able to thank her enough for that, because it just felt so personal, and it meant so much to the two of us. Then I met her, and we were under the impression that she couldn't talk very much because that's what she told us, but that little snake did talk to us, like, so much more than she should have, but it's fine. So anyways, we get up to her, and I immediately, like, she hugs us. The first thing she does is hugs us, and she, like, looks over at Haley in this, like, blue dress, and she's like, oh my gosh, that, like, really suits you. And Haley was like, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful. And Taylor does the thing where she scoffs and, like, pats her arm. She's like, stop it. Like, no, like, don't. And we were just like, oh my god, she's here. And so I immediately was like, okay, we have to, like, get something to make the conversation go. Like, I need to say something. What am I going to start out with? And so finally I was like, we've been waiting 10 years for this moment. And she, like, looked at me and she was like, we did it. And she high-fived me, and I like, combusted. I was like, this is the end of my life. Haley and I kind of went back and forth, like, talking about the things we needed to talk about. And I don't remember anything that Haley said, really. What I was focusing on, the first thing I told her was, I drove 8 hours from Nashville to be here, and, like, I'm so excited to be here. And she was like, she looked at me like, 8 hours, like, that's so far, like, oh my gosh, thank you. And I was like, for you, anything, like, what the heck, this is crazy. And, like, I just want to put a little disclaimer, like, a lot of the things I'm saying are more, like, just a general idea of what was said. I don't remember any exact quotes except for, this really suits you, and we did it. And, like, other than that, like, I remembered the sentiment, and I remember kind of what the conversation was doing, but I don't really remember exact wordage because, like, my brain was just exploding in that moment. So this is, like, she said, like, she didn't actually say, but she probably kind of said. Haley kind of did her spiel, which was, you have made me, like, you taught me how to be courageous and resilient, and, like, thank you so much, like, I'm so proud of you, whatever. And Taylor was like, yeah, like, I love you, you're great. And then the conversation, like, came back to me, And my thing that I desperately wanted to talk to her about that I realized like I had to tell her was I wanted to thank her for writing Invisible. And Invisible is like the first Taylor song that I desperately loved that I found myself that wasn't like our song. And like I still vividly remember to this day being in 8th grade, being 13, listening to it in my grandparents' house before I went to bed, being like, this is my song. I like looked at her and I was like, Taylor, like I just want to say thank you for writing Invisible. Like it made me feel seen, and I really like it means so much to be like, thank you for writing that song. And she like looked at me, she was like, oh, nobody ever talks about that song. Thank you. And I was like, you're welcome. Thank you. And so then Haley started talking again, and she was talking about like the Pride speech in Chicago. And we were both like, yeah, like thank you for the Pride speech. Thanks for the Chicago show. It was so iconic with all the rain. And she was like, of course, like it was so much fun. Like I'm so happy we're there. Like, of course, of course, of course. And then security's like, okay, like we got to take this picture. And so it's the two of us now, so we're like, this is amazing, like, oh my God. And we go over there, and legitimately, Haley and I realized this afterwards, like, we didn't actually see the background. Like, we knew it was probably going to be what all the other pictures were, but, like, if you had asked us what the background was, we would have no idea. Like, I don't remember. There could have been, like, a snake on it, and I would not have noticed. Like, I just didn't even recognize what was happening. So we go up to take this picture. The only thing I can remember, there's two things. Number one, I remember looking at the camera, and the guy is back there taking pictures, and I'm like holding on to Taylor Swift, and he's like, okay, here we go. And so I'm like, Jenna, you have to like smile. Like I've been practicing like modeling a little bit for self-portraits, but I was like, you have to smile the way you're supposed to. Like smile really big and like open your eyes and like be like really happy, like smile really good. And the other thing I remember is I was trying to decide what to do with my head, because like sometimes I like it this way. Sometimes I was like, I don't know, like which way, how do I tilt it? And then I was like, oh. And it just like magnetically like attached to her head. And I was like, my head is touching Taylor Swift's right now. We did the head tilt. I'm so sorry, Haley. I didn't mean to do the head tilt. The head tilt just happened. I'm smiling. This picture is happening. We had like a couple little seconds afterwards to talk to her one more time. And I was like, oh, by the way, I'm going to go on Saturday to Louisville, and I'm going to see you in Louisville. She was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. She was like, I hate in between shows on tour. I wish I could just be on tour all the time. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to see you on Saturday. Oh my God. And the only other thing that clicked for me, because I had like a kind of an outline of the things that I really needed to talk about. And I was like, I have to request a song. Oh my God, I can't think of any songs. So I was like, oh, is there any way that you could play a song from Speak Now? Like just any song, like just play a song from Speak Now. I know the internet wants to hear it, like Speak Now. And she kind of gave me this look that she was like, yeah, I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe. She like sounded, like her face, she looked so disinterested that she was like, Speak Now, like who cares about Speak Now? I was like, well, there goes my shot. She's not gonna play Speak Now, and I just ruined everything. But it's fine. And we were like, I love you. And we like walked away, and like we turned away. Neither of us had cried. We were just like totally chill, and like everything is nice. And I'll come back to Speak Now in a second. As we're leaving, Tree Payne is there one more time, and she's like, hey, once again, like, thank you guys so much for coming. And we were like, thank you. Like, oh my gosh, can we hug you? And she was like, yeah, sure. So, like, Haley hugged her, and then I hugged her. And Haley actually was smart. She had written a letter for Taylor. And so before we left, she, like, turned to Tree and was like, oh my gosh, Tree, I have this letter for Taylor. I don't know who to give it to. Like, who do I give it to? What do I do? And Tree was like, oh, you can give it to me. And so Haley's like, it's just in my bag over there. Like, don't leave. I'm going to go get it. She was like, no, I'll come with you. Like, I'll walk over. And we were like, okay, all right. So Haley gives her the little letter that she wrote. And Tree was like, I'm going to put this in my back pocket. Like, I'll keep it safe for you. And we were like, okay. And finally, like, we go over and the guy, like, cuts off the little colored thing to prove that we had met her. And he was like, all right, like, thanks for all that, blah, 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 blah. And so we kind of, like, walked back the way we came, like those other girls did. And we passed people and they were like, how was it? And we were like, Andrea and Tree are back there. And they were like, oh my God. We were like, I know. And it was just like, wow, it was so great. We ended up like hugging a couple of the bomber jacket people because we were just so excited and happy. And like when we were passing them, it really looked like they had given us a really good Christmas gift, that they were just like smiling because they were so happy for us. That's like the one thing I've noticed the most out of this whole experience, is that even though I'm sure people are jealous and like, yeah, I would hate myself too, honestly. I have gotten nothing but support from everybody being so happy for us. And it just like, it truly, like, I can't explain how much it means to me that you guys supported me through all of this. Like, it just like literally, it makes my heart sing. Then we went back and we got our phones. And before we got turned on our phones, because we had turned them off, both of us kind of looked at each other and we were like, okay, like, the internet knows what's going on because they have ways of finding these things out. They may not have known we were there, but like the fandom knows that this is happening. And once we turn on our phones and once we text people and tweet and like do all this stuff, like everything changes. Like everything is going to be different. Even if it's not like dramatically, like it's going to be different and people are going to like freak out. Like the internet is going crazy and we are so detached right now. Like just take a moment, like deep breath. And then we both turn on our phones and we're like, here we go.
So we just met Taylor Swift. That just happened. What the fuck?
I think the first thing I did was I either made a Tumblr text post or I went on Twitter and I said I just met Taylor Swift. Started texting all the people who knew I was there. Like I texted my roommates and I was like, I just met Taylor Swift. She did a private concert. I texted my best friend who I was going to Louisville with. She called me. We freaked out for 10 minutes. I didn't even have to text Laura because she texted me and she was like, I'm literally crying. She sent me a she sent me a screenshot that she had found of people being like, we just found out that this Taylor Swift event is a private concert and a meet and greet. And she texted me and she was like, I'm crying for you. Like, I'm so happy for you. Don't text me until you get out. Like, have fun. I love you so much. And like, I swear, getting that text message, I was like, oh my God, like this happened. I met her. Like, oh my God. The internet, as you know, like exploded. And so many people were replying to my tweet. And Haley was getting so many messages. She was like, this is insane. Like, this is so much work. There's so many people replying to me right now and messaging me and so many DMs. And, like, both of us were just, like, going crazy. And we hadn't even gotten our picture yet. We were just, like, telling people that it happened. And, like, people were so happy for us. And you guys were so happy for me. And, like, I haven't felt that much love in one night in a very long time. And it was just very nice. Finally, the end of this story is we were waiting for the bus. And we got on the bus. And that was it. And, like, we met Taylor Swift, and as we were leaving, we were just, like, thanking all the staff people so much, and they were so happy, and, like, there were people on the bus crying, there were people who were calling other people being like, yeah, I just met Taylor Swift, and we were like, same, me too. Like, I say this without a doubt, like, that was the best night of my life. Haley and I joked that, like, if we got married, like, even our wedding wouldn't compare, and, like, in all honesty, it would have to be a really freaking good wedding, because that was the best night of my life.
I just swallowed a hair.
That's yummy. This is a terrible... We just met Taylor Swift.
What the fuck?
It's a joke. It's not real. It's like literally 12:35 right now.
I've peaked. It's downhill from here.
Yeah.
I blacked out. I have no memory of this.
And we really live in a society.
We really do, huh?
We waited around and they ended up emailing us the photo the next day, like at 9 o'clock at night. And I don't know if you noticed this on Twitter, but Haley and I decided before we put out the picture, we would keep it for ourselves so we could like enjoy it. And then both of us at the exact same time tweeted like a smiley face. And only one person replied and was like, did you guys get your picture? Like, come on, post it already. And we're like, smiley face. And then like 2 minutes later at the same time, we posted our photo on Twitter and it was just like really beautiful. And now Haley has printed out like so many copies of it for various things. I have it as like my screensaver on everything. And I'm coming back to, you probably are like, Jenna, you said we were gonna come back to Speak Now. And I want to just close out the story. I did go and see Taylor again in Louisville on Saturday with my best friend from childhood, from birth, Hannah. And we ended up going up to the barricade. So I was like this close to her again. But Speak Now. We were in the concert, we were at the barricade waiting on the B stage for her to play the surprise song, and she starts playing it, and she starts singing the opening chords of Mine, and for a second, like, it didn't register, and I was like, oh, Mine, like, that's a great song, and then I, like, looked at Hannah, and I was like, I told her to play something from Speak Now, and she, like, looked at me and screamed, and we screamed, and everybody in the surrounding area of this barricade, like, looked at us like, what is happening? I told her to play something from Speak Now and she played. And like, I know it wasn't just me. Like, there had to have been other people at that event who were like, play something from Speak Now or play Mine or play whatever. And like, Haley even put in her letter, like, play Mine or Story of Us at one of the future shows. But like, even so, to know in that moment that either my words made her be like, okay, this is the final straw. Like, because of this person, I'm going to sing it in Louisville. Or because of the way she responded, that she was like, I'm just gonna like play it really chill and nonchalant so that she doesn't know that like I'm playing Mine on Saturday, you know, like I'm just gonna be like, yeah, like whatever, like nonchalant, it doesn't matter. Like, either she's a really good actress or I was the one who put her over the edge, and either way, that's great. I was just so happy. Like, that week, Like, even though there was so much drama and, like, it was so much driving and it was really exhausting and emotional and, like, I was stressed, like, the payoff for it, like, I can never explain how much that week means to me because it was so important. I want to say 2 things before we go on. Number 1, I want to thank Haley from the bottom of my heart. Like, first of all, she didn't have to pick me. I kind of expected her to pick me, but, like, she didn't even hesitate. Like, I didn't ask to go with her. I was just like, you have to go. Like, you have to go. You have to be there. Even if I can't go, you have to be there. And she straight up was like, you're quitting your job and flying up here, right? Like, you're coming because, like, I'm putting your name down. Like, you're coming. Even though it would have been fun to go with, like, my best friend Hannah or, like, anybody else, it would have been fine. But, like, Haley and I are so similar in the way that we love Taylor and that we know Taylor that, like, I couldn't have had that moment with anybody else. It was just so worth it to be with her. Number 2, this story really is a testament to my faith in God. And, like, I know you're probably like, I don't want to hear this. Like, let's just fast forward. So you can fast forward if you want to. But, like, the only reason this happened is because I prayed about it desperately for a good, like, 2 weeks at the beginning of June. After the June concert, I got home and I was like, okay, God, like, I have never straight up prayed about this. I've never asked you for it, but I'm doing it now. Like, I am asking you desperately with all my heart. Like, I want to meet Taylor Swift. I know it's a stupid request. I know it doesn't mean anything, and you may not give it to me, and I trust your timing. But, like, I just want you to know, like, I want this. I've wanted this. I desperately am asking you for it. Like, can you give it to me, please? I prayed that for about 2 weeks, and then I was like, it's clearly not happening. I'll just, like, talk about it every once in a while with God, like, it's fine. And it really, like, I think the whole experience taught me that, like, I do need to trust God more, because when I got to that concert venue and I knew that I was going to meet her, I just felt him be like, you see, if you had trusted me all those months ago when you were crying about not meeting her, you would know that I had your best interests in mind. Like, this is a better experience than a secret session. This is a better experience than getting her after a concert at Rep Room. This is a better experience than getting a like from her on Tumblr. Like, I am giving you the best experience I can give you because I know this is what you would want, rather than those other crappy experiences, which they're not crappy, but, like, in comparison, I was like, this is what I would have wanted. Like, if I could have chosen, I would have wanted this event, and God knew that, and he let me have it, but he made me wait, like, 5 to 10 years for it, but, like, he gave it to me after I asked him for it, and, like, I still, like, it's truly a God thing, and so I just want to, like, put that out there, like, it's God, not me. Courtney wants to know, did you plan beforehand what you wanted to say to her? And if so, did you remember everything you wanted to say? Not really. Like, I knew I wanted to talk about Invisible, and I knew I wanted to tell her I drove from Nashville and it had been 10 years, but, like, and I knew I wanted to, like, request a song for her, but that was, like, the bare bones. And that's kind of all that I talked about, really. But those are the things that I kind of latched onto that I was like, that's all I can remember right now. I have to, like, just go with that. Maggie wants to know, how is the experience overall of meeting her compared to seeing her in concert? Oh my God. It's weird because at the beginning of June, I saw her in concert, then I met her, and then I saw her again in concert like 2 days later. And the difference between the concert was the first time I was like, man, wouldn't it be great if I met Taylor? But I don't think I'm going to meet her. Like, that's really sad. But oh my God, she's on the B stage. That's so cool. She's right there. And then the second concert, like, sure, it was really great to see her again, and, like, I had so much fun, and I would not trade that for the world. But, like I said, I was, like, this close to her from the barrier, like, the barricade, and it's not that I didn't feel anything, because I was still like, this is so cool, she's right there, oh my gosh, but it was less of, like, Taylor, like, I have to touch your hand, I have to meet you, and it was more relaxed of, like, wow, I don't have to do that anymore, I can just, like, enjoy her presence. Any day, I would rather have the private concert and the meet and greet. A lot of people have been asking me what she smells like, and I gotta be honest, like, my nose was not up to par at that moment. Like, I don't remember smelling anything, so I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but I can't tell you what she smelled like. Sydney wants to know, if you could do it again, what would you have done or said differently? I don't think I would do anything differently. I don't think I'd say anything differently, because I told her all the things that really mattered to me. I told her I was in Nashville and I drove. I told her that, like, Invisible meant a lot to me, and it's still, like, that's my song from Taylor that I think about. And, like, I requested a song, and then she, like, played a song from the album I wanted. Like, there is nothing I could have done differently. And, like, I sometimes think about questions I would have asked, but, like, they're really not that pressing. So, Donut Reed wants to know, what is it like to meet a hero of yours for so long? Is she worth meeting? But, like, obviously, but was it your wildest dreams came true, or will it haunt you? Okay. So going into it, I don't think it ever crossed my mind to be nervous about like this dream coming true. Because like I said, I've had this dream for a very long time and I built it up in my mind. And like when you do that sort of thing, it's kind of dangerous because when you get to the real moment, you're like, this was kind of anticlimactic. Like it wasn't what I wanted or whatever. But never as it was happening did I think like, oh, this isn't living up to my expectations, or like, oh, I shouldn't have hyped it up so much. Like this isn't what I wanted, or like whatever. Like it was better than I ever thought it was going to be, because I always thought that I would like get chosen like during a concert, or like I would like get a like on Tumblr or something. Like that's the extent of what I thought. And like the only difference is like this one, she didn't know me personally, but like it didn't matter because the way she treats you, you feel like you're best friends, that she knows you so well. And it like, she was everything that I thought she was. And I don't know if that's because of who she is as a person. If like I met my other heroes, it wouldn't be like that. But like, it's not gonna haunt me. It's like better than my wildest dreams in so many ways. I think I've talked your ear off and I've given you the full story, and it still is surreal to think about. I saw her on Saturday, and I'm gonna see her again in Nashville at the end of August. Life goes on. It was the greatest night of my life, and I feel so blessed to have gotten it, and I'm so thankful to you guys for not acting jealous, even though I know you are. And it's okay if you feel that way. Like if you actually like hate me because I met her and I had that experience, like you are valid. Like I agree with you. If it wasn't me that this happened to, I would have been really upset. And so I guess my best advice for you as somebody who has been through that, who has made it out on the other side, is like there comes a point where you have to let that jealousy and that aggression go. Like I know it's hard and it's still gonna happen, but like there has to come a point where you sit back and you think, you know what, like I am jealous, but it's okay. She's just another person. If I meet her someday, great. And if not, that's cool too. Like you just have to accept that it's about luck and it's not about anything else. So even if you are like really upset about it, like I get that. Like take some time for yourself, distance yourself, don't worry about it. It can hurt, but like I think Taylor's going to be sticking around for a while, so I don't think you have anything to worry about. Your time is not up yet. It could happen to you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching this. Thank you for supporting me in my love of Taylor Swift. I'm still going to love her until the day that I die. I'm still going to talk about the Nashville show and the Louisville show and all that jazz, so thank you. If you have any other questions about this night or about Taylor or about anything really, feel free to leave them down in the comments. You can tweet me. You can follow me on Instagram, any of that jazz. And yeah, cool. Awesome. This was a long video. I'm sorry. Hopefully it's worth it though. So, yeah, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye!